Hi everybody, I'm here with Who is Chelsea? Maybe today we'll learn who Chelsea is.
Maybe.
I love your headphones, by the way. I'm a big fan. Are they lighting up? Am I saying that right?
They're lighting up. Usually they're like stream reactive, but
that's so
sometimes
cool.
my software just decides not to work with me.
Oh yeah, as it does. I feel like it's like really exciting software stuff, and then half the time it decides it just doesn't want to do what it does.
Yeah, basically. It's really, really cool when it works.
Yeah. So for those of us who don't already know you and want to get to know you a little bit better, could you just give like a quick introduction?
Yeah, my name is whoischelsea, or I guess my name is actually Chelsea. My Twitch name is whoischelsea. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. I've been streaming for about 3 years now. I've been partnered for a year now, and that's basically it. I'm not really good at describing myself. I'm really into The Walking Dead, really into coffee. I'm really into RPGs and story-based games. And yeah, describing myself is probably the hardest task in the world.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that. I did hear that you're a fan of coffee. What's your go-to coffee order?
Ooh, it really changes depending on the place. I like to be basic and get a iced vanilla latte if I'm trying a new coffee shop, just because it's a really good way to judge how a coffee shop makes coffee. Other than that, I just like iced coffee or black coffee. Right now, I did pick up like 4 espresso shots I'm drinking right now, so
nice.
that works as well.
Nice. I was gonna say iced vanilla latte typically is my go-to as well, so it's a solid.
Ooh.
It's a really good gauge of what they have and how they do it. So I never thought about it like that though. So I guess kind of starting out, I typically will start out with more stream specific questions. And then also to everyone in chat, just remember, if you have questions that you'd like to ask, I think Cowboy actually covered it in the chat, but if you ask it in chat, my mods will put it in a little Discord channel that I can see so I can ask them when we get the opportunity. All right. So I guess just starting, you said that you've been streaming for about 3 years now. What brought you into streaming? How did you end up getting into it?
So I was on a YouTube channel for a while, and we would do a lot of streaming stuff over there, and I really liked doing streaming in general, but my friend was just doing a 24-hour stream, and I was like, okay, let's just check it out, let's go support him. And I just really fell in love with Twitch and the community, and I was actually a person who just watched streams for the longest time, and then they kind of talked me into streaming myself, and then I was like, okay, I'll give this a go, and then it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, what was the process like? What's the word? Not transforming, but like the process kind of moving from more of that kind of YouTube stuff into streaming, because then also I don't know what degree of the production side of things you would do with the YouTube content, but with Twitch having to learn how to run the stream and how to do all of that. What was that like transition process like?
So I'm really used to being in front of the camera, because I guess with like acting and then doing the YouTube channel, because I was usually just on camera talent. I was used to that part of it and talking to people. However, the production side of streaming and the technology side of streaming was what was really, really hard. That was definitely just like a big hit in the head, because I had no idea what I was doing. I would literally stream off my old laptop I used for school that barely worked. I'm like, this will work. I can stream off that. Absolutely not. I've definitely had to learn a lot, and I think I still am learning a lot. If my community is here, they'll know. I don't know really how to do anything most of the time, and I'm just YouTubing everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's a continual learning process, because then I also feel like there's always new things. Like, I mean, just like the detail of like your headphones, you know, like it seems like an add-on after all the basics of like just how do you set up a stream, how do you do overlays and stuff like that. But I feel like it's also kind of cool then, as being someone who's normally used to being on camera talent, then getting to learn, you know, the flip side of things and how being able to, I guess, have more agency in creating your own content.
I feel like that's one of the nice things about Twitch. I mean, which sounds really bad because I'm like, control, all the control. It's so fun just getting your own creative freedom of how everything runs and how it works, because in a sense, your Twitch channel is like your own little nation.
Yeah.
You get to decide your rules. You get to decide how things work. You get to decide your schedule and all that. So that part has actually been a lot of fun, and I've been enjoying like the freedom that you have there.
Yeah, I guess because it probably is a little bit different because when you make decisions, like you have the final say because it's your channel, versus when you're working for someone else or with someone else, you kind of have to bounce it off them a little bit more.
Yeah, I definitely have worked on like other Twitch channels or worked with other like companies guesting and stuff. And no matter what your input is, it's like, okay, well, we had 3 other higher ups say no, so it's not happening.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, well, it was great. It was a great idea.
Yeah. So then I guess, would you say that the content that you were doing on YouTube, you think that helped prepare you for streaming in certain ways?
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. I used to be a really shy kid, but I think going on the internet and definitely being on YouTube, and I think the biggest thing was actually watching streamers for a while, because I would say it was like a good 6 months maybe before I even started streaming that I was just a viewer on Twitch. So doing that really helped because it made me have an idea of like, who do I want to be as a streamer? Like, how do I want to craft my community? Because you can kind of see everyone else do it and you can decide how you want to do it.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I feel like one of the coolest parts about streaming too is just being able to be a part of so many communities, and then getting to see what everyone else is doing too, because I feel like we learn so much from each other, you know, just seeing someone do something cool and being like, oh my gosh, I got to figure out how to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what would you say was the hardest part then transitioning into streaming? Was it, you know, more technology? Is it more managing your own interaction? Like, since YouTube normally, assuming that it wasn't like live stream YouTube, it was pre-recorded YouTube, interacting with a live chat versus pre-recorded videos. What was the most, I guess, difficult part of that process?
I'd say the difficult thing is definitely technology. It's a really big barrier, especially for me. I don't know. When I was little, I didn't have much access to a lot of technology. I only had basic things, and I knew nothing about computers, and I still feel like I know nothing about computers. So I just feel like I'm constantly having to learn new things or be brought into a world that I don't understand. But that's been a lot of fun. And then also, I would say maybe sort of managing a community has been quite a big challenge for me. Just because I never saw myself in that like sort of situation, and people sometimes look towards me to make decisions, and I don't know what to do half the time. So I would say like trying to step up and find that voice and fit into that role has been kind of hard for me too.
Oh yeah, I think one of the hardest things that I found sometimes about being in charge of a community also means then you have to make tough calls sometimes, because like you have mods and they do stuff, but if it's one of those that it's I guess a big enough conflict, then it's like you have to do something, and that's not always fun either.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you understand.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't get it, and it's just like I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm a CEO of a company right now.
Yeah,
and the whole business is riding on me.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, I feel like also as a streamer, when you're really connected to your community, you just want to be there to have fun with everyone. But because it's the internet, and the internet is kind of a chaotic place sometimes, things happen that you have to deal with in not as fun of situations. So it's definitely a challenge and a balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a current favorite stream memory?
Oh, that's hard because there's so many good memories. I don't know. I have this really, really weird memory, and maybe it's very small and niche, and it's not going to seem big or profound in any way, but I just have this one memory of, it was an early morning stream. I think I got on like 9:30, 10 a.m. back when I like was able to wake up and I was school. That's not happening right now. I was sitting there with my community, and we were just chatting, and I was sitting there just like sipping on my coffee, and it was just this moment of pure bliss, and I don't know how to describe it other than it was just so nice talking to people, and we just had a genuinely like wonderful conversation over coffee, and it felt so nice to me.
I love that.
Also hardcore parkour, which people are talking about. I did jump on the couch like rolling around doing cartwheels, and we don't talk about that anymore.
I feel like those simple moments are like kind of the best sometimes, though. Like just like a moment where I don't even want to necessarily say calm, because I know chat can have a chaotic energy sometimes, but just getting to like be with them and like be there, I think is so nice sometimes.
Yeah, it just feels like genuine friendship sometimes, or it's just really nice to have that type of conversation with anyone in general, and
Yeah.
just to be able to have the community also do that. I don't know, it's very, very peaceful, and it felt very comforting.
Yeah. So you mentioned school. How has it been to balance school and streaming? Because I know I did that a little bit. I was a senior in college towards, I guess I was a senior in college when I started streaming, so I only had a little bit of overlap. But how has that been for you, trying to manage and balance both things?
I'd say it's been a lot harder as I have to take more classes or get into the harder classes that I pushed off, obviously, to do the easy ones first. It's been a bit of a struggle. I think I do a decent job at maintaining at least the amount of hours I stream and the amount that I want to put into it, like movie nights and stuff. I do feel like I've had to pull back, which I feel always really, really horrible about sometimes, with like how much I interact in my Discord, or like how like sometimes I do have to cancel streams here and there, and that could be really, really tough just because I never want to do that. And I don't want people to think like I'm just leaving or not there, but sometimes just school takes out so much energy that I just don't have energy to talk to people sometimes.
Yeah, it's the streamer guilt, I feel like, because it's like it's important to take time to, for yourself, just to exist and breathe, or when you've got a lot going on, you've got to focus on school and stuff. It's definitely important, but then it's so hard not to feel a little bit of that, like, oh, but I should be, I should be doing this, or that kind of stuff. Hopefully you have a community that is understanding about that, for the most part, because I know it can be tough, because I think also for community members, it's like they miss you, but then they understand, and yeah.
Yeah, thankfully they're all really, really nice about it. Just today I had to end my stream earlier too because I was having really bad allergies, and it's still happening a little bit right now.
Oh, no.
My eye was just like completely leaking, and I was like having a migraine. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I cannot do this anymore. But I still feel really bad. I'm like, I have to make this up some way. I have to like calculate it in my mind. When can I do this? When can I make it up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely, I think that's one of the other sides of streaming that I feel like people don't necessarily think about as much, but a lot of people and other streamers that I've talked to also feel this sense of like this guilt, like if you're not on long enough, or if you miss a day, it's like, I got to make it up, or like, I don't know if you're this way, but I am, and I know some other people I've talked to are, but like playing games off of stream, like I feel bad. Like I don't want to play through a game the first time off of stream because I feel like I need to do it on stream. Do you have any of that kind of, I guess, feelings about games and stuff?
Yeah, I will not play any story game I'm playing off of stream. Absolutely. Like, no matter how much I want to play it, if I really want to play it, I'll jump on, even if it's at like 1 a.m. I did this a while back with Spider-Man. I was just like, I really want to play this game again. So I'm like, I'm going to start streaming at 1 a.m. I don't care. Like, I cannot do this if it's not on stream. I think there's only a couple games that I'll do off stream, and those are usually like first-person shooters. But
Gotcha.
still, I feel really bad where I'm like, man, I could have streamed that. But at the same time, I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to talk to them anyways, because you're like, you have to be really connected to the game in those ones.
And I think it's important also with gaming to maintain some sense of like not I don't know the word is, but like allowing yourself to enjoy it and not feeling like you have to be, on all the time, and just to experience the game without feeling like you have to do that and entertain at the same time. I mean, I also feel like the shooter games that you mentioned, it's harder to be, focused on interaction and entertainment when you want to focus on like, I don't know, getting done what you need to get done kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's kind of like you said too, sometimes you don't feel like you're going to be that entertaining, and I'll definitely not stream if I don't feel like I'm going to be able to, be on or talk to people, because always I want to be 100%, and sometimes in life we're not always 100%. I'll definitely be like, okay, I really am just like emotionally drained right now. I don't think I can literally even talk to anyone. I would just sit there like, and that's not fun for anyone. So I'm just like, okay, we're just not gonna do that today.
Yeah, I know. It's sometimes there are certain games that I get so just zoned in. I look like I'm angry sometimes, but I'm really just focused on what I'm doing. And I'm like, I know that this isn't, it's not gonna be pleasant to watch. Like, it's just me staring at my screen kind of thing.
Yeah, do you ever do that thing where you're just really into a game and then you realize for a second you forget that you're streaming?
Yeah.
And then you look over like, oh my god, I am so sorry.
And you're like, oh,
I was
hi.
like so quiet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I'm not very good at anything that's like a first-person shooter game. My aim is terrible. I'm better on computer than I am on console. I tried console. I can't aim. It's the joystick or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, whenever I try to do that, it's very just laser focused. Actually, so I had a question about your username. Obviously, so your name is Chelsea.
Yeah.
How did you come up with Who is Chelsea?
Who is Chelsea basically comes from me being invisible, I guess, my whole life. I didn't really have many friends. I was homeschooled, so I never went to an actual school, but I did have friends from my dance studio. And whenever they would invite me over to the house or anything, they would always have their school friends over there. And then they would just always be like, who is Chelsea? They're like, oh, it's my friend Chelsea. They're just like, who's that? Who's Chelsea? So it just kind of came from that because I just got so sick and tired of people hearing it. I was like, okay, this is me now, apparently. No one ever knows who I am. But I'm just like, I'm that little side character you meet in that show or that game.
I don't know. To
like,
me,
oh yeah, that's my favorite character.
It sounds like
wait, who?
It sounds like the main character to me. I don't know. I feel like there could definitely be a whole story around that character. But I also feel like that's kind of fun also in the way that one, you've reclaimed it for yourself, for your stream, and two, there are tons of people who know who you are, you know, like there are tons of people who love your content and love getting to hang out with you. So like a sweet irony.
Yeah, I'm glad it's stuck in a way. I honestly don't think that username would have stuck if it wasn't for me being in fandoms, because I did have a different username. But Who is Chelsea actually used to be my burner account on Twitter that I would just tweet about Austin Mahone in The Walking Dead. And then for some reason with all that tweeting, like I really got really I got big into the fandom with the Austin Mahone people, like the Mahomies and the Walking Dead family. So that Twitter kind of grew. And then so that became my main Twitter just because it got so much notoriety. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess this is just me now. I like it better.
That's fun. I feel like that's also kind of fun because like, I don't know, I feel like the fandom side of you is like, not you in particular, but like for people, it's something that you're passionate about, something that you know, just really enjoy talking about. So I feel like that's also kind of fun getting to embrace that and then being like, oh yeah, like people like that side, you know, and you can kind of fully lean into it.
I guess it's just being more real and just letting your real personality show, other than like my acting Twitter was just like, oh, I can't really post anything because it's tied to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like there's that sense of freedom, especially with, you know, like streaming sometimes too, being like a different entity. There is that sense of like, well, this is just me, not the like polished version of what I have to present, or like, you know, if I were going into an audition, how I would present myself kind of thing. You just get to kind of exist and be yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. I have a few more streaming specific questions, and then I have just a whole bunch of other questions that are non-streaming related that I would love to ask as well. Is there anything that you are wanting to try streaming, but you haven't tried yet because either you don't know how to do it or you are maybe kind of afraid to start it?
I would say mainly it would be actually streaming Valorant.
Okay.
Because that is like my go-to offline game with friends. I do enjoy playing Valorant a lot. I just feel I don't know how to like talk during the game because I feel you have to be so into it because you look away for 1 second and you're dead.
Yeah.
I never done it. I never done first person shooter, I guess, on my stream. I don't know why I'm so scared or why I don't ever do it, but mainly I would say it's that. I don't think there's really anything else because I definitely take that what's the word? I can't think of the word right now, but if you want to stream something, then stream it if it makes you happy. So I'll definitely stream anything. It doesn't really matter. I don't care if it's popular or not popular. I stream whatever I want to play.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's fun. And I feel like, especially when you go into a different area of streaming, it can be kind of intimidating too. Like if you haven't done it on stream before, because you're kind of navigating it for the first time. But I mean, from what I see so far in chat, I feel like the people who, you know, hang out in your streams love you endlessly and would watch anything that you wanted to do. So then I guess as far as games go, do you have any, like, do you have a preferred game to play on stream or a preferred type of game to play?
Yeah, story-based games. I like story-based games the most because it gets me really involved in the game and then also gets the chat really involved in the game. I really like doing that, and I also enjoy playing community games a lot just because I like playing with my community. So stuff like Fall Guys, Mario Kart, Jackbox are always really fun for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you were doing community games last night, right?
Yeah, every Monday night.
Okay, nice. I like that. I feel like it's always fun to get everyone engaged in it too. Do you have a favorite story game that you've played? Like if you had to pick one or two, what would be your favorites?
The Walking Dead, Telltale, obviously. Number one, just because I love The Walking Dead and it's also a really good story. And I mean, it's not the first thing I ever streamed on Twitch, but when I had the capabilities of streaming it, it was the first game that I streamed. I would say it's actually my first like full game that I ever streamed on Twitch. And then after that, I'd probably say Spider-Man, just because I really like Spider-Man.
Not the newest one, or the newest
one? No, I haven't played the newest one yet.
Okay.
I just got my PS5 and I haven't been able to play that game yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't played through. I started playing through, actually, the Spider-Man game was one of the very first things that I tried to stream when I first started streaming. And then I realized that I'm not good at games, or I also didn't have the technical capacity to stream it very well. Like I was streaming on my school laptop, so I couldn't really do it. But yeah, it was fun from what I have done.
Ooh, you should definitely play more of it.
Yeah.
May I ask if you have a favorite story game?
Ooh, it's probably a toss up between like Life is Strange and Detroit Become Human. Because Detroit impressed me with how well it was made, especially given that there were like 50 plus endings. Kind of like, I don't know how they configured that. They would have had to have an insane graph to like chart all the different choices, but I just really enjoyed how that one was made. I actually recently played Wolf Among Us, so I think same Telltale as well. And I had someone recommend the Walking Dead games. I haven't played them yet, but that's something that I might be doing in the future. I have a lot of Walking Dead questions for you because I don't personally know a lot about it, and I know a lot of people who are obsessed with it, but you seem like an expert on the matter, so I feel like if there's anyone to ask, it would be you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Let's see. Let me just double check if I have any other. Oh yeah. Do you have any future goals for your stream or the community that you have built or are building?
I mean, main goal is always just to make sure that my community is always having fun and always to grow the community. I think just, obviously like longevity, that's the main thing. I just want them to be happy. I want them to still be entertained. I get really worried about like, oh my God, it's been 3 years. They're like tired of whatever the hell I'm doing. And I do care about them. So obviously if there's anything I can do that makes them happy or stick around or something that's new and fun, that would probably be my ultimate goal. I can't really think too much beyond that. Besides, I do want to get into, I forget, they're like a stream team. I guess that's like my next step of what I've been thinking about is how can I get into a stream team, and also about creating my own stream team for my own community.
Okay,
That way, like, they can, the community can recognize other community members and help each other out.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like it's always kind of neat too, because once you have like a group of like people in a community and there are a couple people within it that streams, it's a good way to kind of keep everyone connected and I don't know, I guess spread the love.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's how the community has grown a lot. It's just by other people becoming streamers themselves or wanting to stream. And I feel it's helped a lot of people. So maybe, if more want to do it, that way we can be like, okay, well, we know them. They're in the community. Let's go send that love over. Just like you said.
Yeah, that's so great. I love that a lot. Let me see. Oh, lastly, stream, I guess for stream questions at least, what would you say that your strong suit is in streaming?
Strong suit? I don't know. I'm trying to think, am I good at anything? I don't know. I would at least like to say, hopefully, that I'm good at talking to people. like I'm pretty decent at it. If I could say anything, I don't know. I don't like to be like, man, I'm good at something, which is probably bad. But I would say I'm decent at talking to people, and that's where my strong suit is, because I end up talking to people for at least like an hour to an hour and a half before I even get into a game, which is never my agenda, but it always happens.
Yeah, I feel like especially once you connect with the community, and as a streamer that's very community centric, I guess it's hard not to just sit and keep talking with them and engaging with them. And I don't know, I feel like it's also easy to get derailed in side conversations too sometimes, when you start to talk to them and then something comes up and then it happens without you even realizing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one thing after another, and then I go back and I'm like, wait, what were we talking about? And that was like 8 conversations ago that I'm trying to jump back to that conversation.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Okay, I think those are all the questions that I have stream specific. But what I am, what I'd like to move into, is, sorry, let me just double check. All right. So this one normally kind of, I don't know if it I don't want to say trips people up. They usually don't really know how to approach it. So I will say you can answer it as broadly or specifically as you'd like. But in a summary, whatever you want to include, what is your story?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that is a tough question just to be on the top of my head. My story, man, I don't know. Now I'm just oh man, who am I? Who is Chelsea? What do I do? So I don't know. I like to say I am just someone who is trying their best to overcome who they were and become who they want to be. I guess if that could be my story, that's what I want it to be. Is I don't want to be defined about what my past was or what I had to go through. I just would like to be known as someone who's trying their best to always succeed and be happy and make others happy as well. My ultimate goal is to leave the world better than I found it. So if I could do anything, that is just to make things around me better.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like
that's a good story.
I feel like that's a really, yeah. And I feel like as an underlying theme, it's so important just to not let what happened in the past or one of my teachers would always call it your mythology. So who you believe yourself to be, or the lies that you tell yourself about yourself kind of thing. But being able to continue moving forward and trying your best and doing whatever you can to improve yourself and be there for your friends. And I just feel like it's also so important in the world that we live in to have people who are like that, just because, especially also on the internet, there can be so much toxicity and all that. So it's definitely a good thing to have. So I don't know if depending on your area of comfort, also you never have to answer anything that you're not comfortable with. But do you want to share a little bit of, I guess, growing up or family or childhood pets or anything like that? I know some people don't like to talk about past or family and stuff. So I want to give you the option to not, if you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm definitely down to talk about my childhood pets. I guess my childhood and my family is something I'm definitely still working on. So I don't know if I'll touch
that's okay. Absolutely
too much
okay.
into that, because I'm still trying to figure out what's the best way to go about that and describe all of that. But I did luckily have a lot of pets growing up, and I'm very thankful for that because I do love animals. The earliest memory of animals growing up, I had 2 dogs and 1 cat, which were my brothers at the time. The cat name was Stimpy. He was an orange tabby cat. He was very fat. He looked like Garfield. And he was the light of my life. I believe my family got him when he was a baby, and we had him up until he passed away just from old age. Then I had a dog. She was a little teacup poodle. Her name was Cupcake. Aww. And she was so tiny, and she was my favorite dog. And then we had a poodle named Brownie. And those are my childhood pets. They were my favorite animals in the entire world. And it makes a lot of sense because now I'm a really big animal lover. I have 4 dogs currently.
Oh my gosh.
And over the years, my brothers have had a couple of cats, but usually they were outdoor cats and or things happened to them, and a lot of them have been just like wandered off, or we don't know if like a new family adopted them because they would be, you know, indoor outdoor cats.
Gotcha. 4 dogs, is that hard to manage? Because I think at home my parents have 2, and I know that can be chaotic at times, especially, I mean, I don't know the breeds of dogs and the age of the dogs definitely plays a role, but how is that, you know, just like taking care? Because I feel like dogs have so much energy.
It's a lot more than I ever expected. I think, I don't know. Well, one was my brother's dog. And then 2 we ended up keeping because my dog had the babies and we couldn't find anyone to take care of them. And we just loved them so much. We ended up just keeping them. But 2 of them are older and 2 of them are younger. But yeah, they just have so much energy. They're very expensive. So the vet bills just rack up. I currently take care of all 4 dogs now.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like every vet visit, every time they need anything. And I don't know if I recommend having that many. We do have the space for them, luckily. They do like have a happy life. They are very active, but yeah, I don't really recommend having that many if there's not enough people to take care of them.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's a lot.
Yeah, I definitely feel the expensive thing, because my cat, I don't know where she wandered off to, but just her and herself can be crazy expensive. I mean, she's older, so she sometimes has to go to the vet a little bit more frequently, but just each time they'll be like, all right, here's your bill. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's nice.
Oh God, that was me a couple weeks ago, because they're like, oh, here's for this, we have to do a checkup. Here's their 4 shots, but they also go to use some flea and tick medication. And I'm like, oh God. And they're like, they need to go to the dentist. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
It's like having a child. So expensive.
Oh my goodness. I know. They're like, we did an x-ray, by the way. And I'm like, cool. Thank you for letting me know ahead of time that you were going to just tack that on to the bill. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's like, I don't want to risk not doing anything for her, because she is like my child. So it's that, yeah, I feel like it's definitely that toss up where you're like, it's expensive, but then also like they're like my baby, so
yeah, they deserve the best and the most decent life possible.
So then school, I don't know if you share what you're currently studying. I don't want to press, but if
no, yeah, I'm studying forensic psychology.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's been a bit longer than I thought, and that's mainly my fault because I keep switching majors. So when I first got like into college, I really wanted to go into psychology, and then I got a little turned off from psychology because I was really way too scared of math and statistics.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I'm gonna go into sociology, and now I am actually going to be getting my AA in sociology after next week.
Okay, that's
because
exciting.
I decided to go that route. But just literally, I think a couple months ago, I was looking at the list of jobs you could do as a sociologist. I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to be happy doing this. I know I love the study and it brings me a lot of joy and I'm very passionate about it. But I was like, okay, I have to find a different faucet. So I did like Google searching and I stumbled upon forensic psychology, looked up the jobs, looked up all of it. I'm like, wow, this is actually, I think, what I've been thinking of, what I want to do.
Okay. What exactly is forensic psychology?
So forensic psychology is just like psychology, except you have an emphasis in the forensics, how it works. So if you know forensic sciences, it's like looking a little more into detail about things and data and how it all matches up. So it's basically like that, but for the mind. Okay. So it's doing a lot more behavioral work and putting pieces together of why this happened, why that happened. Because psychology is so vast. There's different parts of psychology. Yeah, for sure. That forensic psychology is just a little small thing of where you're it's like a big puzzle. It's a big puzzle in psychology. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
That's really fascinating too.
That's the only way I can explain it.
I think actually my brother, I think that was kind of his emphasis in undergrad, because he was doing psychology. He wanted to do therapy, but then he was like, I don't have the temperament to like handle patients and stuff. And so he went kind of more that route. And I think he ended up taking it and with a graphic design minor. And so his like senior thesis was he made different maps of the college campus and had people come in and figure out which layouts and which configurations were easiest to navigate. So figuring out like graphic design and psychology kind of in one, like how they work together and how to, yeah. So it was actually kind of a fascinating combination of things. Actually, sociology. I took a couple classes in college, and it was one of those. I feel like sociology, it's so important in that it teaches you a lot about life and people, and I feel like there are a lot of life skills that come from it. But then also, like, in application, it can be really hard to find like a concrete, place to apply it. It's one of those that I feel like what I've learned from sociology classes are more things that help me on a day-to-day basis, just being a person.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I have like anxiety attacks sometimes just about. I love sociology, but yeah, like you said, it's so vast that when you think about it, you're like, oh my God, but this is connecting this. And then you think about that, applying it to psychology, and you're like, oh my God, no, there's more things that it could be. And you just spiral. And I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. But yeah, I feel 100%. I've become a way better person getting to study sociology and understanding people and understanding the dynamics. And it's also made me more aware and more open to understanding different life experiences because of that. And that's actually been really nice with Twitch streaming because, you get people from all facets of life. Everyone has a different background. Everyone grows up differently. We all grow up in different societies and communities. And I feel it's super helpful getting to understand that a little more and maybe having a little more just care when like talking to people because of that.
Yeah, that's super neat. I feel like also I personally have a lot of social anxiety, and it kind of helps me, I don't know, like it helps me by understanding like people a little bit better. I feel like it helps me kind of calm myself down in that, like, all right, we're all worried about fitting in one way or another, and it's kind of comforting, I guess, in knowing that we're going through something individually typically.
Exactly. I'm so glad you were able to take the classes and you enjoyed them. A lot of people talk about how they're like, oh man, it was so boring, but I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, no, actually they were probably my favorite classes because with my minor was the honors college, so part of it was we had to take classes like that were different from our majors. So they were from all over the university. They brought in faculty, so like I had to take a science class and different kind of from around it. And I picked a couple different sociology classes because I just think they're so fascinating. Kind of, it's like in the vein of psychology, obviously, but not quite the same thing. But yeah, very fascinating. So I'm always happy to find another person who is also fascinated by that as well. What would you want to do ideally, I guess, job-wise? Like if you had an absolute dream job, if you could pick anything, what would your dream job be?
Well, okay, like dream job in that field would be working for like the behavioral analysis unit, like within the FBI. Like that's always been my dream since I was little, and that's like a really huge scope, maybe because I watched too much Criminal Minds. But that would be like the dream job. But besides, like a more realistic job would be doing trauma therapy for children.
Okay.
That's probably where I would want to start.
Okay, that's super cool, and obviously super important. That's awesome. I know that you I know that you do acting as well. Is there anything within that realm that you would have like a dream job for?
Ooh, I mean, acting, I still love acting. It's very much one of my passions. I just love doing anything where I could just be another person or step into another role. I would say right now, honestly, I dreamt about being in a musical. That's probably like the biggest dream because I love dancing as well. So I've always wanted to be in a musical. I love doing any type of immersive theater. And then obviously just being in an action movie would be my dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I want to like shoot zombies.
Oh yeah, like kick ass and take
cool
names.
Things.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I just saw semicolons tagged. If you really want to do FB. Oh, no, Alexa, no. Shh. Alexa, stop.
Semicolons work for the FBI? What the heck? And forensics?
Yeah. Sorry. I was looking at that and then my Echo Dot decided to start talking to me and I was like, hello? Was not preparing that. I don't even know what that was. Okay. Actually, I will kind of divert for a second over to the questions, chat questions so far, if you're all right with that. I have other things that I want to ask you as well, but I try to alternate it every so often.
Yeah. Whatever works for you.
So Cowboy, one of my mods, his first, this is the first question in the podcast. He posted it, or the podcast questions. He posted it last night. And it just says, what is the simplest truth that you can express in words? I don't
simplest truth. I know. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to go for. I guess the simplest truth that I could say from my own experience is that if you really want something and you go after it hard enough, eventually what you want will come to you. It may not be in the same shape or form as you thought, but eventually it will come to you.
I like that. I like that a lot. I feel like that's a really good truth. I like the addition of the part that's, it might not be the form that you like want or thought it would come in, but it you just have to understand that sometimes it comes in different forms. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really
I feel
nice.
we do get the things we want, but you know, it's not always gonna happen the exact time, shape, the way we think it will happen, but it will happen.
I love that. The next question in here is from I am Hadriel. He's one of my other mods. He asks, what is your forever food? If you could have one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pasta. I just love pasta so much.
Do you have a preferred? Oh, you just any pasta?
Well, I mean, preferably if it's pesto or fettuccine alfredo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but just any pasta. Just I love noodles. I love noodles so much.
Yep, a human after my own heart. Pasta is probably my favorite food group. I know it's not its own food group, but it should be.
100%.
I think that it's definitely a go-to, because I feel like, I know that in actuality the different shapes don't actually really taste different, but I feel like they do, and I just feel like it's so fun. Like there's a variety. I'm partial to bow tie pasta. I have no reason why.
Okay.
I just really like the shape.
What's also?
I think I probably usually default to more I guess it's just tomato sauce. It's not marinara, is that? No.
Okay.
What is it? I don't know the technical. I can't think of. But also Alfredo.
Marinara.
You mentioned Alfredo, and then I like had just like a visceral memory of some really good Alfredo that I had, and now I'm thinking about it, and I might try to get some Alfredo after this.
Oh god, I'm jealous.
Let's see. The follow-up question after that. The mods ask every single guest, because they are very deeply curious. When you make a bowl of cereal, do you put the cereal or the milk in first?
Well, you put the cereal in first.
Yes.
Because I'm not a crazy person.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. There's been one person who's answered it reverse, but everybody else has pretty much been cereal first.
And is that person okay? Have you checked in on that?
I'll send a message and be like, hey, how's your cereal doing? Like, is everything good? Are there underlying things happening? Okay, yeah, Cowboy originated the question, but then the other mod started asking too. And then another mod, Swan the Kraken, asked, do you say backpack or book bag?
I say backpack. I've never heard of it called book bag.
Yeah, everybody's on the same page except for her. She's like, no, it's a book bag. And I'm like, no. Someone was like, if you're 90, maybe. But okay, so Lanky Northerner asked, what do you think could be added to everyone's daily routine that would benefit us all?
Oh, that's hard. I have something that will benefit people, but I don't do it, so I guess I don't get the benefits from it. I've heard about this and I've done it a little bit, but I haven't been able to do it enough to make sure it works. So maybe if you guys do it, but it's taking time in the morning and at night to just like breathe and reflect on your day. I've tried it a couple times and it usually works. I just run out of time to do it all the time. Yeah. But from the grapevine of what I've heard, and when I do it, I usually feel so much better. Just taking that time to really just like think about your intentions for the day. What do you want to get done? It can help a lot more than just like rushing out of bed.
Yeah.
And jumping straight into things, which is usually what I do, instead of taking the time, thinking about my day, thinking about like where I am. And I feel like it could really help also ground you sometimes, because if I don't know about you, but I also just get really like, things aren't working out, I'm not here, not there. So just taking the time to maybe like be grateful in the morning and be grateful in the evening before you go to bed, I feel are usually when I'm most at peace.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a good thing. I used to meditate. I like for a period of my life, well, I don't even know if it was a full year, but I would meditate. And then I just found I was like, I can't sit here for 20 minutes and meditate. I've got to go do this. But I feel like the idea of like setting intentions in the morning and reflecting in the evening on, I also feel like it's a good opportunity to practice kindness to yourself, because I feel like that's something that at least I know I subconsciously am very negative towards myself, in that I'm like, I wasn't productive enough, or I didn't do that. So I feel like it would definitely be a good way to give some good, I don't know, like positivity inward, because then you can show it outward. But I love that. Yeah, I feel like that's really good. I'm Psycho asked, what's your favorite cheese?
Ooh, I like provolone a lot. I like provolone and pepper jack. Those are probably my favorite.
Okay. I was worried you were gonna say Swiss. I personally just can't stand Swiss. Of all cheeses, I don't.
Yeah, I don't like Swiss or blue cheese. Those are the two cheeses I don't mess with.
Yes, I don't. Swiss to me, I think it's the smell, partially. I mean, I don't think it tastes great either. But provolone, my favorite thing with provolone is like, I don't know. It's the like roast beef and provolone kind of sandwich where the bun is the bread is toasted. That's a pretty solid go-to sandwich. I know there's a name for it, and I can't remember anything. My brain is broken.
Same.
Let's see. Oh, Dipped in Me here asked favorite ice cream flavor.
Ooh, I like coffee ice cream. I'm a really big coffee fan, so coffee flavored, and then actually like vanilla bean a lot.
Okay. I also feel like, so with vanilla, do you like to put anything on it or just eat it plain?
Just vanilla.
Okay.
I feel like vanilla isn't plain. Everyone's like, vanilla's plain. Like, vanilla is a flavor.
I was gonna say there's still flavor. Like, there's still flavor to it. I just have a tendency to, like, if I do vanilla, I typically will put something on it. But
yeah,
it's not like you're just eating like straight up frozen milk. Like there's flavoring in it. Especially vanilla bean. There's like a little bit more. I mean, I wouldn't be able to describe the difference between like vanilla and vanilla bean and like French vanilla, but I know that they're all technically different. But there's different varieties within vanilla. It's a classic.
Yeah.
But I'm a big coffee ice cream person, so.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Coffee, ice cream, solid ways to go. Let's see. Lost in the Code says ChelseaCon at TwitchCon ?
I don't know if Chelsea Con's a thing. I don't think there's enough people to have my own con. And I don't want to pull like a TanaCon during VidCon type thing. But I definitely would love to do a meetup for my community. I'd feel like, again, when I was talking about that leadership thing, that they're not VidCons, TwitchCons, I didn't set anything up because I was like, man, I don't think I should set anything up or do anything. We'll just see people. And then there's too many people that were just like, oh, I wanted to see you, but we didn't know a time or where you would be. So I was like, okay, maybe next time I'll set up a like specific time, specific spot right before so everyone can meet there.
Yeah.
Hopefully when things reopen back up, whenever that is.
Yeah. Some of the people in my community have jokingly decided that we'll meet up at an Olive Garden. I mean, my community is like, probably significantly smaller, but we're jokingly like, because when we're here, we're family. So we're just going to go and get a giant table at Olive Garden.
Unlimited breadsticks. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, bread and pasta. How can you go wrong?
I will be there.
Let's see. Okay. So Snowy the Destroyer says, I have a two-parter question. Is Twitch your job, and does streaming on Twitch give you a different perspective on things? I don't know if those are like interrelated, but they're two separate questions possibly.
I mean, I would say the most two different questions. Twitch right now is my primary job. I used to have another job before, but I quit in order to do Twitch full time along with school. I do other side jobs, like I take acting jobs. I write on some other projects. I do just stuff behind the scenes on other people's streams sometimes, and I help run other things sometimes. So yeah, working in Twitch and then working around the production within Twitch or like other things is my primary job right now. And man, I feel like I've learned so much being on Twitch. It definitely does make me view things different. One, because I think I have a better understanding of people and their cultures a little bit more.
Yeah.
I've gotten to learn so much about other places, other countries, how things work, how people work. I've learned so much just about people and how they like to be treated and how to treat other people, and just how I know there's a variety of people out there and they all like to be treated differently. And I feel like I've been able to take that into my own life and look at things a little differently because of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like it's always interesting. I mean, even in little things where there's someone from a different country and you say something and just the way that you word it is just a little bit different than how they word it, kind of thing, to different holidays. Because I guess maybe it was just from the people that I follow on Twitter from different countries. I just remember having like a scare where I thought it was Mother's Day, but it was Mother's Day in the UK or Canada or something, but not here. And but yeah, so I feel like it's always a good way to get a balance of perspectives too. And even just within like the continental US, like everybody's raised different. They have different ways of viewing things, and yeah, it's definitely, it's a good way to expand your worldview without like going not to say that we don't want to go anywhere, but like, you know, there's ways to do it without traveling.
Yeah, I think it will maybe help reduce that too when traveling. Maybe you won't have as much, you know, as they say, culture shock.
Yeah,
about the different things, because you already understand their values. You already understand the certain way things should work over there. So yeah, it'll make it nicer.
Let's see. The Garbage GM asks, books or audiobooks?
Oh, books, for sure. If I listen to an audiobook, I'm going to 100% zone out.
Oh, yeah.
I can listen to podcasts sometimes, but most of the time, if I'll just zone out, and it's really bad. I don't know why. My brain will make up its own podcast. So.
Yeah, if I'm not, I mean, because even when I'm reading, sometimes I have the thing where I'll read a paragraph and I have to go back and reread it because I missed it. But with a podcast, yeah. I'll go on a mental tangent, and then like 5 minutes later, I'll realize that I just missed the last like 5 to 10 minutes of whatever I was listening to.
Exactly. Oh my God. Okay, I'm glad you feel that way too, because sometimes I read something and I'm like, I didn't read that.
Oh, yeah?
I did not read that at all. What was I doing the entire time?
Oh yeah. And it's definitely nice to have something, I don't know, I like the physicality of having a book and being able to physically like turn pages. I personally can't get on the Kindle trend just because like I can, and I understand how it could be nice to have everything in one, but I really like to just like, I don't know, have the book in front of me. I don't know. There's something about books versus like a Kindle that I can't explain.
Yeah, it's really nice to have the physical copy there and feel it. I'm the same way with my textbooks. I tried doing an online textbook, and I don't know. I learn better for some reason if I just have a physical textbook there.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some sort of like way to explain it in technicality. I think part of it's like, I know I'm a visual kind of learner, but I think there's something that has to do with like the physicality of having it there in front of me versus like on a screen. It helps me focus. I don't know how to explain it. I am Hadriel asked, are there any hobbies or activities you've taken up or explored whilst in quarantine?
I guess me and my friends had this sort of thing where, and it was only the friends that like I was seeing, like they were alone, by the way, they were quarantining alone. So it's just like we only saw each other and that was it. We would do this thing where we would just like go on TikTok and find a food place, and then we would just like go try that food place. So I guess like that's a hobby. That's all we do is like go on TikTok, find something cool, and be like, okay, we're gonna try this place. This time we're gonna go try this place. And it's our one time to like meet up outdoors, grab our food, and then just eat and then go. So that's been a lot of fun. Other than that, sadness, but that was probably there before quarantine.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I picked up
It was
from quarantine.
magnified by the pandemic.
Yeah, basically that's about it. I don't think there's anything really new that came out. Because I feel like there's a lot of hobbies and stuff that I was actually wanting to try before the pandemic happened. That couldn't happen anymore.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's so many plans that people had, you know, either made or were working towards, and then the pandemic happened and everything kind of just went sideways.
Yeah, basically, just like everything shutting down or things moving or things you had planned for, and then you couldn't do them anymore. So,
Yeah. Is there,
yeah.
as things are lifting and going hopefully back in the direction towards being more normal, is there anything that you're excited to do or things that you have kind of more prioritized to do once you're able to?
I mean, I guess the main thing I really wanted to try is I really wanted to get into rock climbing, like
Okay,
indoor rock
yeah.
climbing. Just as like a new form of exercise and something new. And going back into dance classes was the main thing I was really excited for, because I was actually a competitive dancer.
Okay, gotcha.
Since I've been doing that since I was 6 years old.
Oh, dang.
So, and then I stopped, I would say maybe like 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay.
I sort of just kind of stopped. It was actually mainly when I started doing Twitch and like just having more adult responsibilities to take on.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to like do that anymore. So I think that's one thing I really wanted to get back into,
Okay.
was just going back to dance classes when they reopen.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite style, or I guess specificity of within dance?
I always really love jazz and lyrical,
Yeah.
and 'cause I love jumping. I love doing anything that involves like jumping and flexibility, but I also love hip hop.
Okay, yeah. Those were, I danced when I was younger. I stopped probably middle school, but those were always my favorites too. I leaned more into like the jazz, like lyrical contemporary, just because I have long legs, so leaping was always my jam. That was, yeah, that
I'm so
was
jealous.
that was the thing that I did. I mean, it's good, but then I also tripped a lot because you know, it made me clumsy. But yeah, no, those are pretty solid. And I feel like they're really fun, and they're both in different ways expressive. I feel like contemporary is really neat because it seems so like, I feel like that's the one that I felt the most emotionally attached, like because I feel like it's a very expressive form in a different way. Like I think all other mediums of dance can be as well, but I feel like that's the style that it felt the most connected to storytelling to me.
Yeah, that's what's really fun about dance, is getting to perform a story. And I feel like at least my dance studio was really good about that, in creating stories for our pieces. And I don't know, that's what I've always loved about like just how you get to tell a story, but you're telling it with your body and your movements
yeah.
instead of your words. And I was really shy as a kid, and that was the only way I would ever do that. Even to this day, my dad makes a joke, because especially if you guys ever meet me at TwitchCon or you meet me somewhere, I'm actually really quiet. I'm a really quiet person, especially when I'm around a lot of people. I'm actually really shy, but for some reason, when I get to perform or when I get to be on a platform or something, that's just when I'm the happiest.
Yeah.
And when like my extroverted side comes out, is whenever I get to do that. And I definitely did that through dance. It was just really fun getting to take on characters.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. If you put me, especially in a big group of people, I will be very quiet typically, and I just
Yeah.
I pull back because I'm like, other people are talking, it's fine. Like I'll just kind of, you know, but there's something that's very liberating about not only just like streaming and having this platform, because I feel like there is some level of safety, you know, getting to be at home, but then also, I don't know, it's like a weird kind of confidence thing. But then I guess also relating that to dance, it's so, I don't know, I think it's also really beautiful because you could be a really shy person, but then you get up there, and when you get to express that in that artistic medium, I don't know, that's why I love art too, just because it allows people to express things that they might not otherwise be able to express or feel comfortable expressing. I feel like that's, you know, acting is kind of a similar way. You get to express like all these other sides of yourself that, you know, in daily life you're not allowed to or feel like you can't share.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that. I love that a lot. I don't know. Yeah, just I'm always a fan of hearing about like the connection to art and everything. I have, let's see. Okay, yeah, Break All Silence asked, pancakes or crepes? And what kind of pancakes or crepes, like strawberry, chocolate chip, etc.?
Just pancakes, 100% over crepes. And then I do enjoy a blueberry pancake.
Ooh.
This is probably my favorite. A nice blueberry pancake. Anything with fresh fruit on it too.
Yes.
But man, now I'm like, oh, I should just go to IHOP. I should go to Denny's by myself. Like, I'm gonna do that. I just want pancakes now. But yeah, pancakes.
Definitely a solid way to go. You mentioned you do like fruit. What's your favorite kind of fruit?
Mangoes and bananas all the way. And then pineapple. Sorry, those are my top three. I can't pick one. Mango, banana, pineapple. Those are it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, mango's absolutely my top fruit. I'm a big tropical fruit person. I have one that I need to cut. But yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm very excited. It's sitting over there and I think about it sometimes.
Yeah, you just eye it. You just see it over there and it's like, yes.
Yeah. Are you like a smoothie person or just like fruit on its own kind of?
No, I'm a smoothie person too. Anything fruits or vegetables, I am in.
Gotcha.
I just love fruits and vegetables.
Oh yeah, I feel like, I don't know, fruits are my favorite snacks because I feel like I'm cheating because I'm like, this is dessert, but it's healthy because it's from nature.
Yeah, that's me. Anytime I eat a banana, I'm just like, wow, this is it. This is the greatest thing in the world. It's very sweet. It's delicious. You get the best of both worlds.
Oh yeah,
I don't understand,
absolutely.
man.
I know. I'm like, nature is crazy sometimes, and fruit is the example why. It tastes good, and there's so much you can do with it. Like, I don't know, acai bowls are one of my big things. I learned how to make them, and it's a go-to. I mean, I hate having to clean out the blender, but they're worth it. You know, pretty solid.
That's the worst part about cooking. It's great. It tastes great, but then you have to clean it all.
Yep.
You actually have to like prepare it, and it's a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Let's see. Baconator asks, question for Chelsea. Do you think you would have ever thought of streaming on Twitch if you wouldn't have landed a job on the Fine Brothers channel? And where do you think you would be right now if you never started streaming?
Oh God. First of all, that's a horrid thought. Where it would be without that. Man, one, being on that YouTube channel too also like really changed things in my life as well that I don't think like I would ever had if I did not have that. One, being like who I am today, having like the outlook I have today. I don't think I would have started streaming because I'm trying to think like if I never went the route of like being on that channel and getting to find a voice and getting like to find like other friends just like with my at-home situation. No, I don't think I would have been streaming. I don't know what I would be doing. I would probably just be, I don't know. Actually, I don't think I'd be like working like a job within, I'm trying to say like my family, like working within like retail or like fast food industry. I don't know, because I think I've always definitely had a passion for entertaining. I would have found a way to like go about that. Maybe I would have been a dance teacher. But I just don't think I would have ever found the voice to like speak or talk about, I don't know, things, you know, in the world or like stream or talk to other people. I don't think I would have ever had that confidence to speak to other people or to speak on any subject. Because I felt even when I first started like doing the YouTube channel, it was really hard for me to speak about anything or like without like second guessing myself. So I don't know like where I would be if I'd be better off or somewhere else. But
yeah, it's kind of crazy to think.
I would have been on Twitch.
Yeah, it's wild because I mean it's one of those like everything in life happens for a reason kind of thing, and it's wild to think that if one thing wouldn't have happened, like you might not be in like this place or that kind of thing. And I feel like, especially, you know, having been here 3 years now, I feel like it's such a big part of you know, your life and I don't even know, like daily interaction sometimes just with the community and everything. So that's super, I don't know, life is crazy. It's crazy how one thing will happen and that's I don't know what the word is. Oh my gosh, my brain is not working today. It is not on my side. I love words and it just doesn't want to but yeah, just how it started everything. How did you end up getting into doing, because I know you were talking about you weren't even super comfortable talking then when you started it. How did you end up getting into something like that?
So I first started dancing, and then dancing led to me being a backup dancer for a singer. And then they wanted us to do music videos and stuff. And then they were like, oh, you should really do acting. You should get into acting because, like, if we do stuff like this, we're going to need you to, you know, do more acting for the singer because, like, we were set backup dancers. And my mom put me into acting. And at first, I really did not like it at all. I hated acting. Again, I did not want to talk. I did not want to say anything or do anything. But then I just slowly fell in love with it. And it was just like a casting call for me to do it. And it was just like, okay, this will be fun. Just talk about things. And so I auditioned, and apparently they liked me because they just brought me on the show. And I was just doing the show for fun. I never even thought it was like a big deal. I don't know. I didn't know how big it was. I wasn't also on YouTube. I didn't have access really to the internet much as a kid. Because, I don't know, I would definitely say my brothers low-key gatekeeped all electronics and like technology from me. Just because they were older, so they got all the computer time. They wouldn't show me how anything worked. So I don't know. I barely watched YouTube, only what my brothers would show me. I didn't even know how to go on YouTube when I was like 13. I thought you spelled it the letter U and then T-U-B-E, and it would never go. And I'm like, where is the YouTube? I don't get it. I was so upset. And also when I go to my friends' houses, they would show me YouTube. So that's all I knew. I didn't understand the internet. I didn't know like how things worked or how things like blew up. So it just became something over time that I was definitely never thinking it would go there.
Yeah. How long did you end up being, like, how long were you on that, I guess, particular show?
I started when I was 14. So for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, about 9 years.
Okay, that's crazy. I have memories of being, I think maybe in middle school or early high school, watching like one or two of the episodes here. Like my brother would show me and be like, oh, like look at this thing that they have, and I'd be like, oh, okay. So like seeing that again, I was like, oh my god, I remember that. Like I remember watching those and being like, oh, that's so interesting, and that kind of stuff. But that's so neat. And I feel like also, again, one of those like kind of moments of chance, like one thing led to another that led you there. That's super cool. I mean, I'm very thankful that you ended up there and you ended up here, because then I got to meet you, and I think you're really cool. And you're a very, very sweet human. So I, of course, enjoy getting to hang out and talk with you.
Oh yeah, well, no, I'm so thankful. Like one of the things I'm most thankful for is like, again, just having these opportunities and meeting other cool like friends. Just cause like I feel like, you know, I had a decent like friend group when I was younger, like with my dance studio and all that. But I feel like growing up, it got more isolated. You know, everyone grows up, they go different ways. Yeah. Colleges. I felt like there's a while that I just didn't have friends for the longest time. So now like getting to be on this platform, meet a lot of like cool people and amazing people, has definitely just been an honor. So I'm always so grateful when anyone asks me to do anything. I'm like, yes, friends. Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Oh my gosh. I'm always so terrified to ask anyone, because I'm definitely, like I mentioned, I'm very introverted by nature. So I'm just like, do you maybe want to do this? Like, if you don't, it's super fine. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I get really, really, really anxious to ask. So whenever, you know, people like you are willing to join and hang out, it's just such a, I don't know, it's such a treat to me to get to hang out with you and get to know you. Yeah.
Thank you for having me on. And I'm just gonna shut my window right here one second.
Go for it.
I don't want to be too noisy with my roommate.
Totally
okay,
fine.
There we go. We're good.
Also, a reminder to everybody in chat: if you have questions that you'd like to ask, feel free to put them in chat, and my mods will put them in my little Discord channel. Let's see. I'm just checking. I have like a whole list of questions that I can pull from. Oh, actually, before I even go there, I remember. So you mentioned the Walking Dead game, which it's my understanding The Walking Dead is kind of a big thing for you. Something that you like, maybe at least a little bit. How did you get into The Walking Dead? Was it through the show? Was it through the comics? Because I've come to learn that it was based off of a comic series originally. So my knowledge on The Walking Dead is very, very little. So please share as much as you know.
Ooh. No, so I definitely just started from watching the show because I was 13 when the show first started airing. My sibling actually told me about it because I've always been into horror since I was a kid. And my brother's like, there's this new like zombie TV show starting, and I was like, what zombie show? And it was airing on Halloween, and I was never really like able to like ever go hang out with friends on like Halloween or go anywhere, so I was just home alone. I was like, okay, like I'm gonna watch the show, like I'm really excited about it. And I just watched it, and the first episode I was like, this is the best thing ever. This is literally the best thing ever I've ever seen in my entire life. And I just completely fell in love with it. After the first season, I ended up getting my whole family into the show as well. And then it slowly became like a big family thing that we were all into The Walking Dead. And then probably after maybe the second or third season, that's when I even found out it was a comic book. I had no idea until then. So probably around then is when I started reading the comics. I got really into the comic books. And then I think what really got me to stick with The Walking Dead was, overall, it's an incredible show to me. The writing and the acting is all wonderful. However, it was the online community that really got me to stay. That's not English. That's not proper.
It's
I don't know. But they were just so sweet, and like having the Walking Dead family, it was just so nice talking to them around Twitter, around Tumblr, around like whatever. I was in a bunch of groups. We would sit there and like dive into The Walking Dead, talk about it every single week. And I think that's just what mainly got me to stick, was just I got this like Walking Dead family, and we call each other the TWD family.
I love that.
And I'm still friends to this day with people I met when watching the show in season 2. And I don't know, it's been so cool just being in that community that it makes you want to watch a show and be into it even further. And I feel like it's the same thing about Twitch. It's like you get there and you meet your community, and it's like suddenly, oh my god, these are my people, these are my friends, these are my online friends. There's a new episode that we're streaming, we have to go see this, we have to go do that. So it's just been a lot of fun going into The Walking Dead. And again, I'm a really big fan of the show. Obviously, just like anything they do, I'll be a fan of it.
Yeah, I feel like the community is just as important as the show, because if you find a good community that you can, like, I don't know, talk about it with, because it's one thing when you're excited about the show, but then getting to find other people who are just as into it as you and having discussions about, you know, everything that happened, especially like, you know, right after something new comes out and you get to like go, you know, bit by bit kind of through it. I noticed on your website you had what looked like, I think it was like podcast interviews with certain people from, I don't know what capacity that they worked with Walking Dead, but it looked like a Walking Dead podcast potentially.
Yeah, so I actually have a talk show as well on my channel. I just haven't done much with it in a while just because of school, and I've been too busy, and then also I went through like that bit of imposter syndrome as well, reaching out to guests. But I mainly did start it as a way to talk to people in The Walking Dead and, you know, get, you know, just to have them promote whatever they're working on, have them talk about the show. And so it was a Walking Dead podcast, and then it slowly veered into a little bit more of just talking to people within the entertainment industry and talking to people who work on any level of anything within the entertainment industry. So mainly just like writers, actors, producers, directors. But yeah, I've been fortunate to have a few people who have been actors on The Walking Dead in some capacity, a few of like the producers, and I'm trying to think if we had anyone else from there, but no, I think it's just been like the actors and a few producers.
That's so cool. I love that. How was that, I guess, experience? Not only having discussions with people who work so closely with something that you love, but also, I don't know, getting to approach it and then hear about it from their perspective.
When it was insane, like actually reaching out to people and having them say yes, I was a little overwhelmed. I don't know if anyone here is in the chat from the first ever interview I ever did on my stream with Brendan Davis, who he's just another reporter, but he talks to all like the big celebrities, and I've always looked up to him as like a host. I was like legit freaking out. I was sweating so harshly, but it's really cool hearing them talk about the production and hear them talk about their acting. And I don't know, because you see them a little bit more as people, and that's always been my goal as someone who works in the entertainment industry, for people to see these people as people and to want to learn from them, and to see how like it doesn't have to be so intimidating to want to go and do those things or to achieve your dreams. Because I feel the overall world, and to me it still is very big and overwhelming, but it is achievable. And again, I just want people to achieve their dreams. So it's been really nice just getting to talk to them and kind of be humbled by their experience as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. How was the experience going from, because I'm always interested to see anyone else who streams and has done other interview things. How was the experience going from, like a streamer to interviewer? Like, how was that? Did it feel different to you? Did you ever have any, did you ever hit any bumps that were things that you felt were maybe a little bit more difficult?
So I used to do a lot of red carpet hosting before I did streaming. And well, one, I would say I hated red carpet hosting. It felt like I like it now, but when I was working for a different company and they kind of detailed your questions, I didn't like it. But doing it now as me and like putting it in the direction I want it to go is so freaking fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that sort of interviewing and hosting. I love hosting, but there's just different facets of it. And I think it's like running for that. I did have the opportunity to host for Skybound, and that was really fun because I was also given like a lot of creative freedom about what I can ask people. I literally made up all the questions I got to ask the people. And I totally forgot where I was going with this answer. But no, the transition wasn't really, really hard just because I did a lot of it before. And I think what happened was getting to work with someone else and having to do what they wanted me to do versus talking about what I love and getting to interview people about something I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It helps so much. I would say, okay, that's where I was going with it. It's the passion. Be able to talk to people about things you're passionate about is so much more fun and so easy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because when you're passionate about it, they're passionate about it, and it makes it fun. It makes it just a good time to talk. Whereas like where I was interviewing and talking to people I really didn't care to talk to, or
Gotcha.
I wasn't really interested in what they were doing. So I was like, okay, here's the pre-made questions that I didn't even want to ask you. So it's been a lot of fun, and I think I take that. I'm like, wow, this is so fun. I have this liberty to run with where I want to go with it.
Oh yeah, it's so interesting too how like a little bit of creative freedom or a little bit more personal agency makes a huge difference in the experience. Because like you said, when you were just talking to people and you were reading questions or asking questions that you didn't like, you had to ask, I feel like it's a lot less fun than getting to choose what you're engaging in, who you engage with. And I think it definitely, I'm on the same page about passion. Like that's one of my, I guess that was one of the incentives for making the podcast, is just, I want people to have a place where they can talk about things that they're passionate about, and have an opportunity to discuss it. Because more often than not, if you give someone like the space to talk about something that they're like passionate about, they're excited to have, have some time to talk about it. So
yeah. Oh, like, okay, that is one huge tip I will say about people in general. And we all do this. Maybe not sometimes. I don't like personally talking about myself, but people love to talk about themselves. They love to talk about what they're doing. And it's not a bad thing. It's just a lot of time people aren't given that area. So if you ask a question, you really listen. People really want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it's not so much I feel like a lot of people don't have the opportunity in their daily life to talk about it. Like they're not asked very often sometimes about their projects, or they're not asked very often about, certain areas of things. So then when they get the chance to, and they have someone who genuinely wants to hear, I think that it's definitely a freeing and an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned Walking Dead being, sorry, I just saw a giant face in chat. I was not expecting that. Hi, King. So are there any other like shows or anything that you've been into or passionate about? Or, I mean, I'm assuming that Walking Dead has been a really big part of your life in a really cool way. But has there been any other shows or I guess media that has had such a big influence on you?
Well, I'm really into television and movies in general, so I will watch any movie series or that, obviously, just anything, Avengers, Stranger Things, anything pretty much you can think of, I will watch it and I will love it. A lot of horror. I am a really big fan of horror, and I feel I do a lot within like the immersive theater community and immersive like horror communities out here, especially in California. That has a really big impact on my life as well. So I would say that's the other big media Besides that, I mean, there's a couple YouTubers I watch that have maybe like impacted me, but I would say maybe it's like the horror community more so than anything that has had an impact on my life.
So then I'm assuming you are a fan of horror games as well?
Yeah, I do love horror games.
I was gonna say, because I feel like that's definitely another way to do immersive horror, you being the central character and everything. I don't do so well with horror. I am bad with the anticipation. Do you have a favorite game?
Favorite horror game? I mean, I think my favorite series is Resident Evil by far. I have so much fun with because it's either action horror or it's survival horror.
Okay.
And I just love that the series gives you a chance to do both. And I'm relatively new to that whole series, but as soon as I played Resident Evil 2 and the fact that it made me so scared, I was like, I love it. It's everything to me. I absolutely love this.
So you love being scared.
I love being scared.
Oh my God.
I would get scared and I'm like, I'll scream, but I love it. Like secretly, I love it.
I heard you mention Outlast.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's different types of horror. I will say one thing about Outlast is that I know that's a big one. I feel like the difference between that and Resident Evil, why I like Resident Evil, is that I can fight back. I don't like not being able to fight back because when I'm doing Outlast, I just feel helpless. I'm like, oh, I can't do anything if they attack me.
Yeah, I played. That's the first horror game I ever played was Outlast, and I was not having a good time because it's you just gotta book it out of there and hope you make it out.
Basically, that's all it is, and it's just literally running around and hiding. And I'm like, no, I want a sword. I want to fight the monster.
So then I guess within horror, not necessarily just games, but I guess within the whole genre, I feel like they have sub tropes and sub genres. I guess kind of subgenres. Do you have a favorite area, whether it be I don't know, if gore, psychological thrillers, paranormal, do you have a area that you find more exciting?
Yeah, I find psychological thrillers way more exciting. As much as I do love horror, I will say I have a little bit of issue. I mean, I love gore is fine. I mean, I'm fine with gore, but body horror, sometimes it's really hard for me to watch. I just don't like watching people get hurt.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's a little hard for me to stomach, especially when you just have people being ripped apart, torn apart. Yeah. It's not a big deal. It's just not my favorite. I'd rather be psychologically manipulated in a game or something. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's also, to do well, it takes a little bit more planning and a little bit more skill versus not to say that there's any lack of merit in a gory movie, but I feel like it's more, it takes more foresight and planning, and it's more of a shock at the end when you realize that things aren't what you thought they were versus you just seeing people getting torn apart kind of thing.
Yeah, and I love Final Destination and Saw. It's just with those, I mean, they're great. It's just very predictable. Yeah, I know what's gonna happen. I know who your killer is by the second, because you guys were just so bad at trying to hide it. Yeah, and I don't know, we're just seeing people chopped up. Whereas I don't know, there's something about the mental thing that happens.
Because I feel like that it takes more work, and then also it allows for more of a twist at the end. So there's more surprise. It's more you're immersed in this journey, genuinely finding out new things versus being okay, well, this is probably what this is kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say, I know it's not a psychological thriller, but sort of Detroit Becomes Human was sort of that in a way. It had elements like that. Yeah. Especially in the Choose Your Own Adventure. So stuff like that, that's a lot of fun, especially when you're being made to make your own decision.
Oh yeah, I think the other, I guess other context that I have reminds me a little bit of Until Dawn. Not entirely it's gory, but then also there's a decent amount of you don't really know what's going on kind of thing. You're kind of figuring out pieces, and it's definitely violent. It can be very violent, but I feel like there's a lot more kind of at play there that I was not anticipating when I started. I was oh, they're in a cabin in the woods, they're all gonna get murdered by a crazy dude, and kind of, but not entirely.
Yeah, exactly. Those type of things are really, really fun.
Yeah. Do you have what out of everything horror, whether it be movies and games, or TV, is there anything that stands out to you as something that was the scariest? Like it stuck with you kind of out of all of them?
So there's two movies. Well, one, it doesn't scare me anymore, but it was more the experience, and that was Amityville Horror.
Okay.
I would say, like, in general, paranormal stuff freaks me out way more.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know why, what it is, but even like anything like that really just freaks me out. So definitely Amityville Horror, just because when I was younger, we were going into the theater to see the movie, and me and my mom, like, we could swear there was people in the theater. Like, we were apologizing, going to, like, saying, I'm so sorry, trying to get into the theater, and it was really dark, we couldn't see anything. And when the lights turned on, there was no one in the theater but us. And it was just, like, a really odd experience.
Yeah.
Because we swore that there was people in that theater, but there was no one. And it was just really, really weird. And at the same time, I was really young. And I think the ghost character in that movie was also named Chelsea. So I don't know why that just, like, freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the other one is The Ring. I don't know why The Ring freaks me out of anything, but I don't know. I still freak out during The Ring. I will watch a movie and will not watch the videotape part. I will not watch it. I refuse to watch it. I don't know what it is about that movie in particular, but it's just that movie. Everything else, totally fine. I will see anything nowadays, but maybe it's because I watched it when I was a kid and then it scarred me. So
yeah,
it's just
I feel
those
like
movies.
that can definitely have an impact. Like if it's something that messes with you when you're younger, I feel like when you get older, sometimes it can be harder to shake that, and you can't quite pinpoint it, but it's just kind of in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the first experience, I feel like the experience sounds scarier than any kind of like freakier, I guess, than any kind of movie. Like, I feel like it's just one of those that it's like, we went to go see this like scary movie and then we thought there were people, but there weren't. And like, it's the, I don't know, ambiance of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I swear there's like people coughing or there's people shifting. And I don't know if it was just my brain or our brains making that up because we were just scared for the movie. And maybe that was it. Either way, it's just the whole entire experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was uneasy.
A little spooky. Let's see. I don't know if we have any other questions right now from chat. Let me just check my list to see what all I have.
No worries. Okay, I recommend checking out The Ring. Let me know if it's scary or not. I don't know if I won't watch it again.
I still have yet to get myself to watch a horror movie. I don't know why. I can't do it. For me, well, okay, part of it is anticipation, because if I know that it's supposed to be scary, I sit there the whole time with every like muscle in my body clenched, waiting to be scared.
Yeah.
And you think that it would prepare me to handle it better, but it just builds up all the anxious energy so that when I finally do get scared, it's just like explosion of energy.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with what Gray just said actually right now. Start with Evil Dead. Maybe start with something that's a little more on the side of like a horror comedy. To me, Evil Dead, like the original Evil Dead, is very comedy. So
okay, I could
like very start there. Sam Raimi, just you could start there and you'll be okay.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be, if there's some laughs to kind of balance it out, I might be okay. Ishmael, the Garbage GM, asked thoughts on Crypt TV.
I love Crypt TV. Crypt TV is so freaking good. I don't know if you know what Crypt TV is, probably because you're not really into horror.
Sounds familiar.
So Crypt TV is a YouTube channel, and they do short films with just like different like short film analogy series. But the great thing about Crypt TV is that they hire out different directors, and they usually hire like just not super famous directors, but they'll do up and coming directors who are trying to make a name for themselves in the industry, and they give the directors and writers like full reign to do what they want with like their short films and their series, and give different directors like different short films. So the whole entire YouTube is just complete with their own universe of different monsters and different stories, and the work they do is just so incredible and so beautiful and so amazing, and the directors they have are just absolutely amazing and up and coming, like big horror directors.
Yeah.
And I think what they're referring to is, I don't know if they saw, but I actually reached out to Crypt and I did a couple interviews with a couple of the directors and community social media manager from Crypt TV. And I had one of the actors from Crypt TV come on too.
That's cool.
Just because I freaking love all the work they do. And also just because like Pride Month and all of that, they're really big on equality and diversity and like what they do. And so I really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I realized, I guess I haven't personally heard of Crypt TV. It reminds me of, I don't know if it's a traumatic experience. My dad used to watch this show called Tales of the Crypt, which I guess it's somewhere within, I don't know if it's technically horror. It's got spooky undertones. But he watched this one episode of it when I was like younger, and it was about this guy who like had like a cat's heart put into him, so he like had 9 lives, and it was just something about like at the end of it he realized that he only had 8 because the first one was to get the heart from the cat, but he was like doing this stunt because like his whole thing is he would do stunts, right? Because he could die and it was fine, but he was like buried in like a coffin underground because he was like, I'll be fine, I have one more life. And then he realized he didn't. I don't know why. Still to this day, what like the panic that he went through when he realized that like this is it kind of thing. I think that's where my fear of being buried alive came from. I've never thought about it very specifically, but yeah, it's maybe because something like that happened to me when I was younger. So like horror and spooky things, like I like spooky vibes, but I don't like horror, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It does play with your mind a lot, and it's okay. Like I know a lot of people who are just not into it because of like that thought. But yeah, Tales of the Crypt is a really good like 80s version of it, and I don't know if you know, but they brought it back.
Oh,
and
they did?
Greg Nicotero, who is he does a lot of the makeup for the zombies on The Walking Dead, and he has like directed a few episodes. He actually is working on the new Tales of the Crypt. It's on Shudder.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know if you watch it through AMC Plus too, but I know for a fact it's on Shudder.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that in a while, but I think that, yeah, my dad used to watch that show, and I was like, I know it's an older show because it was around when I was younger, and I think it was maybe even a little bit dated then, but that's so wild. I wonder if they're gonna remake old stuff or just make new stuff.
I'm not sure if they've remade any of their old stories. I know they're making some new stories. Also, Tales of the Crypt is based off, I think, a comic book as well.
Okay, gotcha. That would make sense.
A lot of their stories come from the comic books.
Okay. Actually, another side thought that I had. So I know that I think it's I don't know if it's the writer of the Walking Dead comics. I think that's who it is. But there's a new show on Amazon that I watched recently called Invincible, and I think it's got a lot of the Walking Dead actors in it from what I understand.
Yeah, that's from Robert Kirkman.
Yeah. I didn't know if you had watched it.
Yeah, I haven't finished the entire series yet of season 1. I've watched half of it, and it's so freaking good. But actually, Invincible, I believe, is before Walking Dead. I think he wrote that before Walking Dead.
Oh, interesting.
But then Walking Dead took off, and so obviously he like continued like really hard on The Walking Dead. But yeah, Invincible's incredible. 2003, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure the date, but yeah, Robert Kirkman, other comics are so good. People only talk about The Walking Dead, but yeah, Invincible and all that are really, really good. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen The Boys.
Yes.
But it reminds me of like an animated version of The Boys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I definitely on the same page as far as gore, you know. But yeah, no, I watched through Invincible and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm also super excited because like Sandra Oh voices a character and Steven Yeun voices a character, and that for me was just, you know, enough of a pull to start watching it. I was not expecting it to take the turn that it did by the end of the first episode. But it's really good. The Walking Dead is a show that I've wanted to watch for a while, but I just haven't gotten into it. Is it still airing? Like, are they still producing new episodes?
Yeah, so actually they're about to come out with the final season. I believe it's premiering August or October. I believe it usually premieres I think it's a little bit after August. But yeah, they're on their last season, unfortunately, season 11. But it's going to be a really long season. I think there's like 20 or something episodes.
Okay.
But there's also Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond, which is in their Walking Dead universe.
Okay, so are those like just different, I guess, did they take characters from the main show and put them, or like kind of move them to a sideshow, or is it developed separately?
Yeah, so it's developed separately originally, but then as the show has gone on, Fear the Walking Dead has taken on some of the characters from the main show, and then World Beyond kind of is going to be tying all the worlds together.
Okay, interesting. That's kind of neat. So, Dom had asked in chat, is Fear the Walking Dead still running? So I'm assuming that that one's still going then.
Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead, they just started their 6th season, and that is currently on the air now.
Okay, that's crazy. I feel like there are so many different facets within the same universe, which is kind of cool. I feel like, because then also you like with the original show ending, it's like, one, you're getting a long season, but then you also there are other things going on within it that you can also keep watching.
Yeah, exactly. You basically get Walking Dead world year round. That's what I was trying to say.
That's awesome. So then with The Walking Dead, with how long it's run, how would you say that it's held up? Because I know sometimes when shows go for a long time, people tend to have issues with it, and you being the expert, I feel like would have the best kind of input on that.
Personally think there hasn't been a dull moment, especially if you're a fan of the comic books. It's stayed interesting. Maybe there's been like 1 or 2 episodes that, have been sort of like what they call like a filler episode. I've seen a lot of different arguments, but I like to disagree with a lot of them, because a lot of people say it went down after season 7, like season 7 and 8 kind of went down, then they say it picked back up. I personally really enjoyed season 7 and 8 because there's a lot of character development, and that's what I like to see. It wasn't as much action as it was of like conflicts with communities.
Okay.
And even if you read the statement in the opening of the Walking Dead comic book, it says this is a story about the people in the apocalypse, not the zombies. So like the entire show is supposed to be about the people and how they go through the zombie apocalypse and how they're trying to like live their life and how to try to rebuild a community.
Yeah.
As someone who obviously enjoys sociology, I find that hella interesting.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Oh damn, they're starting from scratch and they're trying to like go through these different ideas and points of views. So I personally have enjoyed it a lot. I can't speak for other people. Obviously, like maybe I do have a bias for loving the show. I will say there's been times where I'm like, okay, that episode was all right. That episode wasn't great, which I think is just, that's every TV show ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I still think it's a really good show with really good commentary, and I love the characters.
And then I guess additionally on that, so the Fear the Walking Dead's in its 6th season now. How would you say that compares to the original series?
Low key, Fear the Walking Dead is better, I would say.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe I think it's one because I got a little exhausted with people are wanting The Walking Dead to stay true to the comic books, where Fear the Walking Dead has nothing to do with the comic books. It was a second universe created. So they kind of have freedom to do whatever they want. So I feel like they've taken more risks on Fear the Walking Dead than they have The Walking Dead. And also Fear the Walking Dead starts in LA, where I am from. So I'm wow, yeah. Yeah.
So is it just like is it like a similar time frame with a different set of people?
Yeah, basically. It starts off with, so where Walking Dead starts, it starts in the middle of the apocalypse. Fear the Walking Dead starts before the apocalypse. Okay. Like weeks before the apocalypse happens.
Okay,
so it's
you
different
get a little
timelines.
Bit... Okay.
Yeah, different parts of the country, different characters, until, there's crossovers, which didn't happen until season 4, I want to say.
Okay, gotcha. That's actually really interesting. I know it would be a big thing to it's one of those that's one of those shows I've always wanted to watch, but I know there's so much of it, but it sounds really interesting, and the way that you kind of presented it, that it's about the people in this situation, I feel like that sounds very interesting to me. My impression of it previously was just it's zombies, but I feel like that makes a lot of sense just kind of beyond that.
Yeah, And to be honest, I mean, a lot of people say the show's too scary. I do not find the show scary, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Because they're just zombies. I don't know. I've never been like, I feel like what's scary is the people. The people are scary. That's what scares me, not the zombies. The zombies are not scary. It's the people that are scary.
Anything that, I was going to say, I'm probably more terrified of a show that has someone who's like a normal person who's like a killer. Like, that's more scary to me than like zombies, because like, people can be killers, but I've never seen a zombie, you know, like that kind of thing. I guess my last like main question about the show. So you said there was a third series related to that. What was that called again?
That's called World Beyond.
World Beyond. Okay. How many seasons into that, or have they started that yet?
There's only one season of that, so if you ever want to like start, you can always start there, because it really doesn't have too much to do with The Walking Dead. Honestly, you'd be more tied in if you'd watched Fear the Walking Dead. Okay. So I mean, yeah, it's very different, and it's gonna tie in a whole nother way.
Okay, so is that one still currently in production?
Yeah, so World Beyond is actually I think they're only getting a second season, if I'm correct. I'm trying to remember what's happening with that, because that's a limited series.
Okay, gotcha.
So basically its only purpose is to serve as a connector to The Walking Dead, and also there's Walking Dead movies happening. Okay. So it serves as a connector into those movies.
Okay, so then like the movies are the movies stemming then from both The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, and so the series is to connect them, or do you know if it's like more one or the other show, if that makes sense?
So I know what its main premise is. However, I don't know if I say anything about it and someone's watching the show and they're not caught up, it's gonna spoil a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Then
so maybe I don't want to talk about it. I would say it's gonna have to deal with more with the main show, 100%.
Okay.
There's
Gotcha.
a specific character from the main show it's gonna deal with.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Like WandaVision with Phase 4. Oh yeah. The way that it sets everything up. But that's so interesting. I really like it. I had very minimal understanding of the show, and so I was like, I've always been interested, so I kind of want to know more about it. And so then I saw that like you are definitely, I would consider, a Walking Dead expert. So thank you for bringing me up to speed, because now I know kind of what I would be walking into. No pun intended. Break All Silence asked favorite horror anime, and then they said Blood Sea, Hellsing, Paranoia Agent.
I never seen the ones they mentioned. I do like Parasite, Death Note, and then I just finished Demon Slayer. So I do like those, but no, I haven't seen Paranoia Agent. I just don't get a lot of time to watch anime, unfortunately, because the subtitles, you have to sit there and just, be tuned in. Yeah. And sometimes I just don't have time for that.
Yeah. Would you say that like an animated horror versus like a human acted horror have different like tones, I guess? I feel like it's hard to get. I mean, I'm sure you can still have like a horror plot line, but I feel like part of it is just like the scary part is existing it like in it, or having it exist in the world that you live in, kind of thing.
Yeah, anime horror really, like not anime horror, but animated horror in general, just makes you feel a lot more disconnected, I think, and desensitized to what is happening compared to a real horror. Just because you are seeing those like real things happening. Like I was saying, a body horror, like Invincible, I don't have a problem with like watching that, but when you see it like happening on a real person, they're like, oh my god, that's a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not all the way through the show yet, right? Invincible?
No.
Just remember, there's something that happens at the end in the last episode that if they ever tried to do that in a real life show would be just, I mean, a lot of the stuff that they've done in the show so far, like even just the end of the first episode, watching that in animated form versus like if I watched that in a real life, like with human actors, I think that I would have had a much stronger reaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you're right. It does kind of desensitize you. It's The Boys level. I don't even know. I feel like it would be worse than The Boys if it was done in real life. I mean, The Boys definitely has a lot of stuff going on. I love that show. I can't wait for it to come back.
Yeah, season 3's. I know someone posted a photo of them filming for it.
Yeah. I think they've started. I'm so excited. Like, there are so many. A-Train ran through a person in an episode. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild in the very, very first episode of The Boys. That I was not prepared for, because I think I hadn't watched a show that was so gory, and I was just surprised because it was on Amazon Prime. You know, like, I'm so used to watching like network TV kind of shows that wouldn't do that kind of stuff. I didn't hate it though. So like, it was one of those, like, I can handle gore so long as it's not like overly gratuitous, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any other additional questions right now from chat. Oh yeah, absolutely watch The Boys. I highly recommend. I enjoyed it. You have to be okay with gore and a lot of swearing.
Yeah. It's definitely rated R.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It was one of those that my parents would be like, oh, like, what are you watching right now? I'm like, oh, this show called The Boys. It's really good. I like it. And they're like, would we like it? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't for sure tell you yes.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another question that I have. I have like a list of questions that I just kind of pick from sometimes, but what is your greatest achievement, or what's the thing that you are the most proud of?
That's hard. Oh, kitty cat. It's so cute.
She decided
So
she wanted attention.
I'm proud of finally, I guess, driving, which was something I never thought would happen, or that I was scared about. So definitely that's one of them. And then I guess one of my greatest achievements is still getting to host for The Walking Dead season 10 premiere, just because, like, it was my favorite show ever.
Yeah.
And just, like, getting to, I don't know, interview the cast, go to the premiere, go to, like, their, like, after party,
That's
and just be seen
awesome.
as, like, a
Yeah.
professional with them was, like,
Yeah, getting to
absolute
be
dream come true.
like on the same playing field, like entering it in a space where like you said, like being a professional with other professionals, especially something that you're passionate about, like that's the dream, you know?
Yeah,
Sorry.
because like at that moment they weren't seeing me as a fan. They
Yeah.
were seeing me like a mutual who works in the industry. I'm like what? Like that's so cool. So I don't know. I am very, very proud of that. And then again, just like maybe driving, personal achievements, like going to school, things I kind of thought in my head I would never be capable of doing, and doing them.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like the hurdle of driving is a lot more significant than a lot of it, like than a lot of people sometimes give credit for, because it can be, I don't know. I just remember the first time I was behind the wheel of a car, I was just like, no, like it just feels like a lot of responsibility. So I feel like getting to do that and getting to the point where, like, you know, you're doing it is such a big deal, you know?
Yeah, it was just something that was sort of like taboo for me to do. Or I was like always told, you're gonna get in a car accident, you're gonna get in a car accident and die. Like, this is what's gonna happen. I was sent like every thing of someone, like a teenager getting into a car accident and all that, where I was just like terrified of like, okay, can I actually do this? So no, just actually doing it, overcoming the fear, and just being able to do it just helps so much. Yeah,
that's such a big thing. I know that, especially with that kind of mentality kind of built up too, it can be, especially the longer you've been telling yourself something or been told something, it's even harder to overcome. So yeah, I definitely, like, I highly commend you for overcoming stuff like that, because I know my personal anxiety stuff, like, that I have going on, it's such a process to like work through it and be like, okay, I can do it, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it was a literal roadblock.
yeah. Let's see. Abba Lab asked, Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead?
Dawn of the Dead. I know Night of the Living Dead is what started it all and got like the big zombie craze. But I definitely like Dawn of the Dead way better.
Let's see. Sorry, just checking.
No, no worries.
Okay. What is your favorite way to like waste time? Like if you could pick any way, like in the like, I don't know if I want to say like indulgent ways of spending time, but like, you know, someone would say like, oh, like sitting and watching TV is like a waste of time, which I disagree with. I think it's good. But like, what would be your go-to way to go about it?
Definitely TikTok and sleeping.
Yes.
Biggest waste of times.
Oh, absolutely. I tried to put off getting into TikTok as long as I could because I had a feeling I would be absolutely addicted to it. And that's exactly what happened. It's the infinite scroll. Because I'll just sit there.
It's so addicting.
And you keep going. You're like, okay, one more. Okay, one more. Like it's so hard to put it down. And then as far as sleeping goes, are you like a napper? Like, do you like to nap, or is it just like sleeping in kind of thing?
Both. I don't know. I'm just like always tired and I always want to nap. And I'm like, I can't nap because that's going to take an hour away of my time. Yep. And then sleeping in is the worst, especially just when I'll set an alarm, I won't wake up. I'll just want to sleep. And then it wastes my time. Maybe it's not a waste of time, but it wastes my time all the time. And I'm getting annoyed at it.
It's one of those that I used to be like it. I napped all the time. Like I had a sweatshirt, or I still have it somewhere, and it says Nap Queen. But it's one of those that like you'll do it and like you know that you need it, but then sometimes you'll still wake up groggy and tired. And then it's one of those that like in hindsight you'll look back at it and it's like, well, that's an hour that I could have spent doing something. And you know, so it's kind of that like toss up feeling. Actually, someone in chat a few days ago, or maybe a week, I have no concept of time, they mentioned like, I wish that like this concept of like a I don't even know if they use cryo chamber or some sort of thing that like you can go in there for 2 minutes and get a full night's rest. I was like, that would save me so much time. I could be so productive, and I feel like I'd get so much stuff done if that existed. Because then you wouldn't be tired.
I don't know. Well, because the thing with like sleep is there's different like ways of it, and no matter what they say, it's like, oh, you have to have 7 to 8 hours. It's not actually true for each individual person. Yeah. And the problem is like, how do I know? How do I know if I'm a person who just needs 5 hours, if I'm a person who needs 7 to 8? Like, what do? I just want to stop feeling tired.
Exactly. Because then I feel like no matter what, if you sleep too much, you're going to feel tired. If you don't sleep enough, you're going to feel tired. How do I know what my sweet spot is? Like, how do I know exactly the amount of time that I need for me? Because if I sleep 8 hours and I'm still tired, do I need more sleep, or did I sleep too much? Like, you know, I have no idea. Let's see. My mod, I Am Hadriel, asked, have you played or seen the Left 4 Dead series?
Yeah, I did. I think Left 4 Dead is the one that's sort of co-op. I played it for a bit. And my friend still jokes about calling me Chainsaw Chelsea because I don't know what I was doing. I didn't know I was playing. I just had a chainsaw and it went to this mass horde of zombies and went through. And then I killed the witch and I was like, Chelsea, you just killed the main thing that we were trying to kill by yourself. And I was like, okay. And then I was just really happy. That's like my only memory of that game. It's just I get really happy when I have a chainsaw.
And apparently with a chainsaw you are unstoppable, so
exactly, it's my superpower in the game.
Yeah, exactly, just things to keep track of. If there's an actual zombie apocalypse that happens, chainsaw and you're set.
I never actually used a real chainsaw, but
yeah, you'll learn. You'll figure. I think that you probably have the intuition for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't think there are any other. Oh, thank you for the dono. I appreciate it. I don't know why the text didn't show up underneath it. Oh, it's probably black text. That's probably why it was over the black bar. But I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm just gonna shout out to chat if you have any other questions, just to put them in chat so we can ask. I don't want to keep you too long either, because life is crazy and I'm sure you've got, you know, stuff to be doing. So I just want to do like a last call if you have any last questions, chat. In the meantime, though, I do want to know, so what is something that never fails to make you smile or laugh or make your day a little bit better?
it would choose like animals. A really funny video. People being genuinely like people achieving things makes me really happy. Like other people getting achievements makes me really happy. Like I always smile and be like really happy if I see someone else like I did this, I got this. It makes me really happy.
Yeah, I love that. I love it a lot. So are you do you end up having a lot of animal videos in your TikTok feed?
I mean, I do have the occasional cat video. I do have like a really dark sense of humor, so I do get a lot of like those and a lot of like the sad depression jokes, unfortunately, and then college jokes. That's about it.
I was gonna say, honestly, one of the ways that I've learned to cope with my like depression, mental illness stuff that I've been through is through humor. And it's one of those that I have to remind myself not everybody jokes that way, so then I have to like rein it in because I never want to offend anyone, you know, who's going through it and who doesn't have that same sense of humor about it. But it's definitely one of those that's how I actually ended up bonding with a decent amount of my mods is because we like make jokes about it, and it's always good to be on the same page too.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you joke about it and people are like, can't say that.
Yeah, they're like, did you just
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's always that moment where you're like, no, I promise it's fine. Like, I've been through it and I'm fine. This is just how I cope.
Yeah.
What is... Oh, okay, that's not for me. I saw something for my mod and I was like, I saw my name in the link and I was like, do I need to click this? No. What are your biggest, kind of on the flip side of that, what are your biggest pet peeves?
Biggest pet peeve, like in public, is when I see someone not wash their hands after they leave the restroom. Like, I don't know what your excuse is. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
Like, please wash your hands. I think especially now, it's like the biggest thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other issue I have is people who do the like thing after they drink. They'll take a drink and do the little like. I don't know why. Like, I know it's like just a thing people do, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I really don't like it.
I don't know. I feel like there's something. It's something about the sound that I'm like, you didn't have like that. You didn't have to make that sound. Like, it can still be refreshing without the sound, and it feels to me just like I'm in a Coke commercial or something, you know, where it's just like the like you hear the can opening, you hear the bubbles, they take the sip, and you just hear a very loud, just like, and like that's just, it's the commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, I did an audition once for a Coke commercial, and I'm telling you, that was the legit audition. They had a can of Coke. They made you have the Coke. They made you open the Coke, drink it, and they literally made you do that sound. And I was like, it was the worst audition of my life because I just hated that. I hated having to do that.
That's like in practice your least like one of your least favorite things too, just to do that. Commercial auditions are weird. They really are sometimes. Like, I did what was it? It was an audition for a Tostitos commercial, and literally they're like, all right, come dressed as your favorite emoji and you're gonna eat chips while dancing. And that was the audition, just to dance and eat chips. It was like, I had fun, but it was not what I expected. Because then I had like I was like in the same space. I had an audition the day before that was it was like a PSA kind of thing against like teen dating violence or something like that. And so it was like really intense, you know, it was in that space and it was like really intense, like what the dialogue was. And then I come in the next day dressed in a pizza footy pajamas, because that was my best attempt at an emoji, and I danced and ate chips. So
so amazing.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like either when you do those commercial auditions, they either actually give you the food or they don't, and you have to pretend like you're eating it.
Oh yeah. Oh, now they're joking about Coke gaming.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't for Coke gaming. I don't know if you guys ever went to the movie theater, but it was the one at Six Flags where they're on like the Drop of Doom. And I don't know. And that's the one thing I was really glad I actually didn't get it, is because I said I was comfortable going on the ride, but I was really not. Like, I would have died. Like, I would have cried going on Lex Luthor's Drop of Doom. So
oh my gosh.
Definitely not meant to be.
Oh yeah. It's one of the things that you'll be like, yeah, I'm okay with it. If I have to do that for the sake of booking, like, I'll do it. Yeah. And then afterwards, when you don't get cast, there's like that little bit of like, okay.
And I didn't have to like go over and over again.
You don't have like a recorded clip of you just being like Like that would have been, you know, filmed footage forever.
Oh God, no, thank you. No,
I feel like
thank
that's
you.
one of those like you would have a hard time watching. Just because of the
I have a hard
sound.
time watching myself in general. Absolutely not.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would made it really hard.
That's one of those that I think about. Like, I know that I don't like to watch myself sometimes, like rewatching like either old VODs or stuff, or like sometimes even just watching things that I've been in, like, because I know that it's me and watching it just feels weird. So like I think about like different projects, like if I'd ever have to like watch it after the fact, I feel like I'd always just be I don't know. Like there are some actors who don't go to movie premieres at all, like of movies that they're in, or they don't watch them. And I feel like I'd be torn between like, I put in all this work so I want to see it, but then I also feel like I'd be the person that's like just like hiding in my shirt the whole time, being like, why did I do it like that?
Yeah, and then me like second guessing everything. Like I could have done that better.
Oh yeah.
Could have went different. Why did they cast me? Why am I here?
Yep. Yeah. The entire existential crisis.
Exactly.
I guess this isn't really a real question, but the last question that popped up in this the question page is true or false beans.
True.
I appreciate the conviction that you answered that with, and the speed that you answered it with. Apparently, according to I Am Hadriel, that's the correct answer. So
It is. It's very true.
Thank you for your time and the speed at which you answered. Yeah. You were ready.
You're welcome. I have a really weird addiction to black beans in general.
Interesting.
I just love them. I'll put them on my tacos, my burritos, anything. If I can have black beans in it, absolutely 100%.
I've never been a bean person personally. It depends. Like I grew up in Texas. Like I was born in California, raised in Texas. I'm back in California, but barbecue is like a big thing, you know, in Texas, and there's always like baked beans. Sometimes I'll eat them, but for the most part, like I typically don't. But beans in like tacos and burritos have never been, I don't know. Maybe I just haven't had them, so then I just avoided them. I don't know. Now I have to try it and see if I like them. Now I'm curious.
Now I want a burrito. I want a bean and cheese burrito. It's so bad. Like,
oh my God, that sounds really good.
Chipotle.
Man, this conversation has made me different kinds of hungry throughout today, whether it be pasta, you know, with fettuccine Alfredo, or tacos and burritos. Oof. Yeah.
All of it, man. All of it.
Oh yeah. Might be my go-to after stream. Well, I guess on the note of beans, I don't want to keep you here too long, but thank you so much for coming on here and hanging out with me. I really enjoyed the opportunity to get to know you better. You're such an amazing human, and I just feel like you have such a wonderful community and built such a wonderful space for your community, and I just really appreciate you and the outlook that you have on things. It's been really nice to hear. And yeah, I don't know. I feel very lucky to have had you on, because you're a very sweet human, and I have high key definitely had like a friend crush on you, because I think that I followed you on Twitter a while ago, and I just kind of like will watch, you know, I see people post stuff and it's like, wow, she's really cool. Like I want to talk to her sometime. So having the opportunity to was super, super amazing, and I really, really appreciate it. But if you want
thank
to,
you so much.
yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
I
thought you were done.
Oh no,
I'm so sorry.
it's literally fine. And that's also one of the hard things about podcasts too, because there's like internet delay, so then it's like reading the pauses is so much harder, so I don't even worry. I was just gonna say, if you wanted to promote or plug anything right now, please feel free to do that. We also have your Twitch link already linked in chat. If you guys do !guest, it'll link you to her channel. If you do not already follow her, you need to be following her. She is amazing and wonderful, so please go check her out. But if you want to plug anything, please feel free to.
First off, I want to say thank you again so much for having me. I feel very honored that anyone would actually even want to talk to me. I definitely also follow you on Twitter. I'm just really bad at catching up with people, but I remember I was just like, man, she seems so cool. You're really funny. You're really pretty. And I was like, oh my God, she wants to talk to me? No, absolutely not. What is this? So yeah, thank you again. And just anytime I come in here, Lurk, you have been amazing. Your community has been amazing. And again, it's just wonderful to meet other like-minded people on the platform, if that makes sense. Because, you know, it could be small, but also be really big and scary at times, and you can feel very alone. So I don't know, getting to make these connections and getting to meet other people and make other friendships is super important. So thank you again for reaching out. I hope you had fun today. I hope I wasn't a boring guest.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And I mean, I don't really have much to plug besides like I stream 5 days out of the week. We are having movie night tomorrow night. If anyone would like to join, we're watching Army of the Dead tomorrow night around like 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I think. Which is a horror movie, zombies, which is off of Evil Dead actually. I do have something exciting coming up, which I'm excited to share. I can't really say anything right now because I kind of just got confirmation about it today. So yeah, I guess just follow for that when that happens. I'm excited to tell people, and yeah, thank you again so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. It was such a good time, and like you said, I always enjoy getting to make new friends on the platform because I feel like there are so many people here. It's so hard to meet individuals, especially people who are similar minded. I also just want to say that if you ever want to hang out or anything, or you ever want to do anything or play games together, I'm absolutely down. I'm bad at point and shoot games, but I am always willing to try. But I really appreciate you, and think you were just kind of one of the coolest humans ever. So thank you again. I can't say thank you enough for just being here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely play some games. That'll be a lot of fun.
All right, well, if you want to say goodbye to everyone, I will transition us over so then I can just say goodbye to you before coming back on and closing out.
Yeah, bye chat. You guys are wonderful. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for supporting Aya. And like, if you're not following from my community, please follow her if you haven't already. She's a lot of fun.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and transition us back over to just the image of your beautiful and lovely face.
Okay.